Lunch hour live here, DLNY, Deeper Learning New York at Kingston High School, kicking off our live podcast. And I really couldn't think of anybody better to start the conversation with. Dr. Andrew Taylor and I have a long interwoven past, and we get to connect now and again and kind of share what we're up to. So I know we caught up this morning, and you're never shy on things that you're working on, which I want to get to. But first, you spent the morning out in session, opening. How are you feeling just today being here?
So this is my second year going to this event here, and I have to say every year it's been great. This year, opening the session with kids, you hear playing instruments, getting the audience sort of revved up for the day. And then my first session was with New Tech, and that was just a great session on AI with just really smart people just in a room talking together and having really deep conversations about what it means to learn today in the future and how technology is sort of impacting and shaping education.
Awesome. So technology, AI. First of all, tell the listeners what do you currently do, your role, where you're at, and then we'll get into some of kind of the things that are driving you and what you're thinking about.
So I'm currently the Director of Technology and Innovations for Chappaqua School Districts in Westchester, just north of New York City. I've also started a company called Edmotions AI, which is working on creating sort of the first emotional management system for schools that will really help schools and students learn how to regulate their emotions, identify their emotions, and track data on students over time.
You never are shy on thinking about kind of where we are, but where we're going. So you and I were talking before about kind of competencies and how those are kind of bucketed over, and you talked about like this. I don't remember exactly what you called it, but the need for individuals to possess this upskilling in tech fluency, not as a standalone, but in everything we do. You share a little bit about kind of what you're thinking.
Yeah, so I think that what AI is doing for us right now is it's really reinforcing the need to not just the core four, right? The math, science, social studies, and English, but really to think about what does technology mean in our life. I was talking earlier how I don't necessarily use the Pythagorean theorem every day. I don't use some of the chemistry things I learn in chemistry every day, but I use technology deeply every single day. And I'm just wondering if we're really preparing students with the skills they need to do that, not just as an ancillary or integrated sort of subject area, but something that is really deep and they can go deep in and they can learn really, really strong skills in. The other area that I'm wondering if it's sort of being advanced right now is the area of thinking, not just critical thinking, which I'm really not even sure we have a common definition of. When I look at definitions of critical thinking, they're widely different, even from what the state has, from what other places have around the idea of what critical thinking means. But systems thinking and design thinking and computational thinking, and how all of those skills sort of reinforce the learning and are maybe a new learning skill within themselves that we need to teach more discreetly and scaffold through K through 12.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I think in terms of defining the language that we're going to be using, we have a real opportunity as a state as we think about these shifts that New York Inspires, Portrait of a Grad, right? Like embedded in those are going to be these things. And it's going to be critical that there's precision of understanding and language and definitions, so that while we want individual systems to bring their unique way of actualizing, there's got to be some fidelity in the standards and what that means. So super excited about that. The other piece, yeah.
I want to touch on that for a second because I totally agree with you. I think the Portrait of the Graduate could totally change the way we think about education in New York State. We need to sort of prod the institution, though, to go a little bit further than what's just sort of the generic definitions that are out there right now, because it's so easy when I look at, some of the things around competency skills around the standards. It's so easy to say I'm doing that as a district because my kids score well on the exams.
Right.
But we want them to go deeper than that, right?
Right.
We had a great conversation today, this morning, in one of the sessions I was in, about agency and where does agency fall in the Portrait of a Graduate. And you could say agency falls in every one of those categories, or you could kind of say it doesn't fall in any of those categories because it's not explicitly designed.
Right.
It's not explicitly defined inside the category. So I totally agree with you that we have to really dig deeper in these definitions and push to really sort of stretch what we're thinking about when we dig into it.
Yeah, that's so important, and I think, well, I fear first that if this becomes a checklist of like we're going to audit and we do all these things already, right? Like we're not getting explicit about like what these look like. I think the answer partially lies in the instructional shifts that need to happen, right? The way we think about teaching and learning, and I often think about the exponential growth of technology and its ability to augment and drive and excel at an extreme pace. And I'm a little bit nervous that there are these companies that are coming out with programs or platforms to make lesson planning, design efficient, et cetera, but they're exponentially increasing bad and archaic instruction. And so I know you and I have talked, right? Like I always share that, the best technology in the classroom is the human interaction. There's just this amazing set of tools to be able to augment. And so I think it's the shifts of pedagogy that application that AI or technology drives that we have to go out, because then we get to like what are actually the students doing, like the student behaviors, the teacher behaviors, so that we can see, even if it's not named, okay, that's about agency, that's about global citizenship, that's about, and we can go down the list.
Well, let's face it, schools have a fear of failure, right? We have a fear of not doing things right. Why? Because we've been judged forever. Think about everything that's happened with the teacher evaluations and the way we look at assessment scores and when we judge one school against the other based on their scores.
Right.
So we have this fear that we're going to fail. And until we get over that, we're not going to take risks. So this is an opportunity for us to take risks, but we have to dispel some of those things because otherwise what it's going to be is it's that checklist you just mentioned. I'm going to say, I'm already doing this and look how well I'm doing it because I've been doing this for years. And we're going to just say, I'm doing the same thing I've always done because I know we're doing okay at that.
Right.
And
so advice, right? As we kind of close out and we've got street tacos and lobster rolls. So I don't want you to be last online.
They better not get out.
Yeah. We know that there's some shifts. You talked about like what maybe can the state do, right? To say, hey, we want you to take some risk. We want you to innovate. From your position, a district leader, right? Like what can we do? Because I do also believe there's a perception about, and I don't disagree with you about ranking and sorting and aligning schools, yes. But inherent in some of those things, evaluation systems, there's flexibility that you can lean into within the constructs that can happen at the system or building level. So like, what do you do as a school leader to encourage staff to take those risks, saying like, we got you. This is the kind of environment we want to foster. What are you doing in your work to ensure that that's happening in your district?
When you talk about what can we do at the state level to sort of encourage this, I think that we almost have to have an innovations competition where schools can apply to showcase their innovations that they're doing. And it's not not a matter of winners and losers in the competition, but just like, let's have a fair where people can come and showcase what they're doing, maybe have some incentives for that, because that's going to say that we as a state, we appreciate that. You know what? And some of those might be failures. We tried this. It wasn't as good as we want. We pivoted and we did something different. And celebrate the failures as much as we're celebrating the successes, because without those failures, we're not going to get to the really big successes that we want. And so as a district, I think that's what we do too, right? We have to say we're okay with some things not going exactly the way you think they're going to go, because you're not taking a risk if everything you do all the time is perfect.
Yeah. So, Dr. Taylor, always amazing to sit with you, talk with you. I believe, so I'm on the District Superintendent's Innovation Committee. I believe you just tasked me with a project statewide. So I'll bring that back to the committee and see if we can't create an event that's going to lift up the amazing success, the beautiful failure, so we can work collectively forward to celebrate that.
And you know that I've never thrown anything out there that I'm not willing to be partner with you on and help you on. So I'll be right there with you, helping set it up when you're ready.
Always a pleasure. Enjoy
Great talking
the rest
to you,
of the conference, and I look forward to spend the next day and a half with you.
Thank you.
Awesome.